everybody. Welcome to Pubcast. And I am your interviewer for today, Anton Pablo Iconiano. And the interviewee is...
Hello everyone, I am Jessie Astaris, 15 years old, a grade 10 student from the Tech Academy Incorporated.
So today we're gonna be talking about your personal experiences in public speaking.
Okay, go.
So, in public speaking, when you're speaking in front of a large crowd, do you ever anticipate you making any mistakes?
I don't want to anticipate or expect any mistakes or errors when I'm speaking in public because just like what our teachers have always been telling us, just like what they always advise us, as much as possible, try to avoid errors or mistakes. But you know, I think it's just given that they are naturally unavoidable sometimes. Like they just happen, diba? And yeah, I don't want to anticipate, but they just really happen. So I cannot do anything about it.
Really, mistakes are what makes us human because
Yeah, that's correct.
you can't really perfect something to the point that you make no mistakes.
Yes, because no one is perfect, right?
Anyways, do you have a memory about public speaking that you just can't forget?
Of course, I do. I remember just last year, I tried to run for the position as for the position of vice president in the student auxiliary council at our school. So we had a campaign. Of course, in the campaign, diba, you have to speak. Each member of the party list had to speak, and for them to vote you. And then we also had meeting the avance. That's again, we had to speak. Each member of the party list had to speak, so we had to introduce ourselves individually. We had to tell them our goals, plans, propagandas, what we can do, for them to vote us. So, and also i I remember answering a question for um in the question and answer portion. That question and answer is for the audience to know whether they should really vote for you or no. Yeah, so that's basically the basis of their votes for us. So yeah, that's that will always be one of the unforgettable moments of my student life when regarding public speaking.
So, what
Ah,
happened
and
was
I forgot to tell you that meeting the advance, like I spoke in front of the entire high school department, so that's like 100 plus students that I spoke in front of. So that was really nerve-wracking for me.
I can't even imagine like talking to a few of my classmates about like a certain topic, and you talked in front of the entire high school department at the time.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah, it was indeed very.
Speaking of being scared, was there ever a time that you were nervous or like just scared when, public speaking?
Of course, kasi 'di ba, being scared and nervous are natural things to feel when you're speaking in public, 'di ba? I'm always scared and nervous, especially because I consider what everyone will think of me. I consider whether my posture is correct, my physical appearance, am I presentable, and um, and my presentation itself as well. If whether I'm gonna mispronounce a word, whether I'm gonna forget something that I was supposed to say. So yeah, and yeah, the thought of a lot of people is watching you. That's so scary, and that always makes me so nervous and scared.
So you're just really scared of their opinions and what their image of you is gonna
Yes,
be.
yes, I am.
Mm, okay. Um, Even though you get scared sometimes, do you enjoy speaking in front of a large crowd?
Personally, based on my experience, I would have to answer yes and no. Yes, because every after the presentation that I did in the past, I always get this um feeling of validation at the end. This fulfilling feeling that finally it's done, and that the feeling the feeling of validation wherein basing on my audience's reactions, like based on their facial expressions, and even some of them clapped for me, some of them shouted for me, and simply their smiles after I presented. So yeah, that's the thing that I enjoy about public speaking, the aftermath, basically. No, I don't enjoy public speaking because of the process, the before process, the process of preparation, a lot of levels of nervousness, and just like that. And it's like what I said earlier, I'm always nervous whether I'm gonna stutter or not, my physical appearance, what they will think of me. So that's what I really don't like about public speaking, the process. And when I'm in the middle of it, I tend to get nervous as well. So there's such a bad or negative feeling for me, and yeah, that's very, I cannot avoid that.
But really, the aftermath is the one you enjoy.
Yeah.
Even though the process is bad,
Mm.
it's still very much needed
Yeah,
to
yeah,
complete everything.
exactly.
I have a question that's like involving what my future's gonna be like. I know that in higher levels,
Mm.
speaking in front of a large crowd is inevitable. But how do you prepare yourself? Like, do you practice in front of friends or something like that?
uh I always prepare myself mentally. Like, I motivate myself. I tell myself, you can do this, Jessie. You will get through this. And sometimes when we have time, I practice with my close friends. Like, I present in front of them. I talk to them in front of them. Like, I present them the piece that I will present at the actual presentation. So yeah, I will get their reaction, and then I will apply it. I will apply those reactions to my no, presentation. And what was I saying?
Something about like practicing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Most of the time I practice alone. Like, for example, I at home, I before, like, the day before the presentation, I talk to myself, like in front of a mirror. I talk to myself. It's as if, like, it's for me to think of it like when I'm talking in front of the audience, I think of it as if like I'm just talking to myself. So for me, it's easier that way for me to be able to present my speech well.
So you think that isolating yourself to your mind helps you present in front of a crowd better?
Yeah, I do.
I
do
hear
think of
that some people prefer like they're talking to like only one person or a few people in the crowd, like close friends, something like that. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because we're all different, diba? My that technique of mine is just easier for me. Pero yeah, I think most of the people that I know as well do that. So yeah, that's also an effective way of practicing.
So, we're talking about public speaking here.
Mm.
You seem to have a lot of experience in it. Would you consider it a skill or something that's gonna be your skill soon because you're still refining it?
Public speaking is not a natural skill of mine. Like, I wasn't born being good at it, diba? But it's something that I always want to improve on. I want it to be, yeah, I want it to be a skill of mine. That's why it's something that I always want to improve on as I go through with my student life. Because I know that it will benefit me um today, and of course in the future as well when I become a professional.
But really, public speaking is no one's talent from when they're born. Like when you're a baby and you don't know how to walk. It's not really,
Yeah.
yeah, you gain it over time. So I
Yeah.
get what you're saying.
Yes.
But in public speaking, mistakes are inevitable. How do you brush it off? Like, do you continue the line that you were supposed to say before after you like made the mistake, or do you repeat the line you made the mistake on and then just carry on?
Most of the time I do both. Like, I repeat the line and I just continue. But it it depends eh. I remember there were times, when we had to present a memorized speech or like a poem. Um when I remember when I said something not really part of the memorized speech. I just continued with it. I just went through it. I brushed it off. I didn't you know I pretended like that what I said wasn't wrong at all, so that it didn't affect my performance. But most of the time I just repeat the line and then I just continue.
Okay, so I'll try to do that.
Yeah.
Now, based on your experience with public speaking, what are tips that you could give to our listeners and anyone that could be interested in refining their skill of public speaking?
Okay. Maybe some of the tips that I can give, based on my personal experience in public speaking. Really, more practice. Like, practice yourself at home, just like what I always do, diba? The day before the presentation, or maybe days or weeks before, I talk to myself. I stand in front of a mirror. Yeah, and then you can also get a loved one or a close friend of yours to practice with them, talk in front of them. um, Let their reactions be a basis of how effective you think your presentation will be. And another one is just simply believe in yourself, believe in your capabilities, and like, don't let the negative thoughts eat you, ruin you. Don't let that nervousness eat you again, and just go through it. Just go through it, go with the flow. Kasi just like what I said earlier, the aftermath, when once that you're done presenting, it's really a fulfilling feeling, and it's a really nice feeling to feel. Kasi, at the end of the day, we're all just humans. We all go through things, and this just public speaking is just one of the things that we all have to go through in this life. And yeah, no matter the reactions that you will get, it will not define you at all. At the end of the day, it's you that matters. That the feeling that you will feel is what matters at the end of the day.
So you're saying that practice makes perfect and don't really care about the opinions of others.
Yeah, just go with the flow. But of course, always do your best as well. It's for your own benefit din naman.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So this will be the end of our podcast. Thank you for listening and goodbye.
Thank you, podcasters, and thank you for having me, Anton. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.